got into a discussion with some folks in the 2K crew group, and because we were all talking about the Fernando Tatis Jr. contract, which to me, I love it. I love every minute of it. They signed him. Yes, dude hasn't even hit arbitration yet. You know what that tells me? He's super fucking young. So you got him locked up for, I think, 14 years.
It's the Turbo and 2K show.
Yeah, and what is he, 22?
If that, yeah. So I mean, you have, I'm gonna spoil our one of our baseball episodes. But he's my pick for the MVP for the National League, and having him locked up and not locking him up with those getting close to 40 year, when he's 40, where they're shit years. I mean, you're locking him up for the his prime.
Mm-hmm.
We got into a discussion, and I said I totally love the contract. Not only is he going to be the MVP, but he if he's not already, he's going to be the face of Major League Baseball. And someone came back and said, no, that's Mike Trout. I disagree wholeheartedly. I'm not saying that Trout is less of a player than Tatis. What I'm saying is Tatis is going to be, if Major League Baseball does it correctly, and you've already seen more Fernando Tatis Jr. advertisements than you ever have Mike Trout advertisements, he's more marketable.
Mm-hmm.
Trout is he does this on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like he does it, like he's at fault. He doesn't want his face out there a lot. He doesn't want to be the center of, the face of baseball. He likes to be him. Mm-hmm. Whereas Tatis is the more colorful, flamboyant. He'll take this and run with it, and you're going to see him in more commercials, which ultimately is going to, A, bring more people to the ballpark in San Diego. It's going to help pay that contract, and B, is going to make baseball even more exciting because I guarantee you there's going to be more kids growing up that are going to say, I want to be like Tatis instead of I want to be like Trout. Why? Because Tatis looks like he has a whole lot more fun doing it. Like I said, I'm not downing Mike Trout whatsoever. Mike Trout is a legend. He's the best baseball player of our generation. Hands down. You can never take that away from the man. That's why he's paid $400 million. Tatis is getting paid close to that. And there's so many people like, well, maybe he's reached his ceiling. Who cares? Who cares? Marketing-wise, and to further prove my point, do you see more Bryce Harper ads than Mike Trout?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because everyone wants long hair. Everyone wants a beard. Everyone wants to mash like Bryce. Mm-hmm. He's the more colorful, flamboyant one. Where I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to be way better than Bryce Harper. And
he already is way better than Bryce Harper.
Fuck yeah. And one thing too is that, and I'm going to say it, even though it might turn some ears, but he's Latin.
Mm-hmm.
How many more? There's way more Latin players in the league than white players. Let's just be honest. And how many of those Latin fans are passionate about their sport, passionate about their players, are going to buy merch from those players? Mm. Oh my God, are you kidding me? There's not going to be a doubt in my mind that Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to sell more jerseys this year. You're probably going to be hard pressed if you want a Padres hat or a shirt. You better order it now, because those are not going to last long. Because for fans like you and I that love baseball, we've known about this kid for years now. The common fan now is going to know about him. Hell, he's already got Gatorade commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And
which to me is a big deal, because you're talking about somebody that's 22 years old and in the sport of baseball, and baseball has fucked this up year in, year out for years now, as far as how many big time baseball players have they wasted away because they're not worth a shit when it comes to marketing, and when it comes to marketing that sport and making it popular, they fuck it up all the time.
Yep.
And the other sports don't do that. The other sports don't do
the shit out of it.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
And here,
we're already behind, and you know who should. I get what you're saying on here, and I think a lot of people who are commenting on this are saying that Mike Trout is the face of baseball. No, he's not. He's the best player in baseball, and there's no arguing that.
Nope.
I won't argue that with anybody.
Nope.
He is the best player in baseball where we're at right now. Mm-hmm. But baseball already fucked it up with him. It's too late now because they should have jumped on this when the kid was 22, 23 years old and was starting out, and at the age of 23, he was already the best player in the game, maybe even the best player in the fucking history of the game.
Yep.
And now we're too late because he's 28 years old.
Which sounds weird to say, but yeah.
But at 28 years old, we're wasting away potentially the best player to ever put a baseball uniform on, and we've wasted it away and we're too late on it. And now you have the 22-year-old version of Fernando Tatis who has he's got the more of the flash. He wants to. And that Trout doesn't have. And that's not knocking Trout.
Two very different styles.
Just two totally different people. Two different, things that make them click. Trout is more of the I'm just going to go to do my job and I'm going to let my play do the talking. To where Tatis, a very good player, his play does do the talking a lot. But at the same time, he's going to be a little bit vocal, and he's a pretty quiet guy too, though. He's not like big time in your face.
Just don't groove a 3-0 fastball and he hits it for a grand slam. but your boy Seahut kind of came with one. He said no. For years, Derek Jeter was the face of baseball, and I disagree with that too.
Well, I mean, in a way I do, and in a way I don't, and the one thing that Derek Jeter had going for him that these other two guys that we're talking about don't have going for him,
rings.
Well, Jeter played with the Yankees. Being on the Yankees roster alone. That
was going to be my counterpoint is Jeter was the face of baseball in the Northeast. Everywhere else, yes, we knew about Jeter.
Yeah, but playing for the Yankees is like over the years playing for the Patriots in the NFL or playing for the Lakers in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
It's just alone putting on the Yankees pinstripes puts you at the top absolutely because. And it gives you're already
the captain. Of the Yankees.
You're already ahead of Mike Trout coming from Anaheim. Sure. They're the second team that you think about.
0
in
rings.
LA. Yeah, they're the second team that you think about.
Rings help a lot.
And then even for Tatis, and I think and obviously they're bringing a lot of star power in, and they're chasing. They want to get a ring, but it's still San Diego. I mean, when you think about California baseball. You're going to talk about the Dodgers before you talk about any other team in California. So
and
the state of California, they are very, very fortunate for what they have right now. Baseball, in baseball, and you have the Dodgers who
they're the 3 best players in baseball.
Yes, and you have the Dodgers who possibly are like the best baseball team ever assembled.
You got Trout in Anaheim, Betts in L.A., and now Tatis going in.
I forgot about Mookie Betts being there. That's how good they are. Yeah. I forgot about Mookie Betts.
And the best part is, all 3 of those guys are going to be there for their respective teams for a long fucking time. Oh, yeah. So that leaves, there's always this disconnect when it comes to the West Coast versus the East Coast. Everyone says there's an East Coast bias, and rightfully so, because the East Coast has been better than the West Coast for how long? The Red Sox, the Yankees. All of these teams that are on the East Coast within the last 20 years have been more dominant and been better than the left coast. The left coast is like, where, how many dudes did you see sign with San Diego just to have their career die? Yep. When Eric Hosmer signed there, I said that same exact thing. I thought he was going there for the paycheck and his career was done. Now you look at that infield that they have, holy shit. Yeah. The left side of that infield is $650 million. Think about that. With him and Machado, which that again, the Major League Baseball should pub the shit out of those two, and they should have, kind of like that Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre, type of where they have fun with each other, which I'm sure that'll happen. Yeah. But pub that. Granted, you're right. When it comes to Mike Trout, I don't think that the only way that you can get the pub train going on Mike Trout is if he wins a ring. Then you can pub about how wholesome he is and how patient he was and how he did his job day in and day out. But that's a different marketing tactic than hooking on to Tatis, who's for lack of a better, when you compare him to Mike Trout, has his hair on fire. Yeah. You know, they're two totally different personalities, and you could do it both ways.
But it's the franchises to me that are just. I mean, you're looking at Tatis at 22 years old, and the Padres are a team that have never tried to do anything.
No, and they're going in huge.
And they're fucking going all out because they have the guy in front of them. I mean, you have the best player that I've seen in my life in baseball in Mike Trout. And you have him locked up. He was the best player in baseball when he was 22, 23 years old.
And you did nothing
nothing to help him.
No.
You've had fucking shitty pitching ever since he's been there. You've had very, very mediocre lineup, too. I mean, you've had a lineup that Mike Trout has batted, for the most part, second in.
Yeah.
He should be the number 3 batter.
Yes.
And put the fucking guys around him. That guy, the numbers that Trout has today, to me, they're impressive and they're incredible when you look at his numbers, what he has at age 28 season. They could be so much better if he would have just had some help around
some protection.
him. Yes.
Yeah. And trust me,
his best true hitter that he's had around him has been a fucking, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best hitters I've ever seen in Pujols, but 6 years too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Had you had Trout when you signed Albert Pujols, that's a different story. Mm-hmm. But Pujols has been, I mean, he was one of my favorite hitters to watch.
There's another guy that missed the market as far as because baseball fucks it up over and over. Yeah. At one time, for a very, very long time, Pujols was the best player in baseball.
Yeah. Well,
it's called the machine.
Look at look at the Braves nowadays. Look at the young roster that they have and their roster on the cheap.
A guy like Ronald Acuna, who is vocal and he does do a lot of stuff that could, possibly stir some feathers a little bit, and he's been known to do that. And that would be the guy that I would, if I'm in charge of baseball and I'm in charge of the marketing, and
you're going to see his face everywhere.
Yes.
It's especially if you look at the contracts that Acuna signed last year and Tatis signed this year, they're about $200 million apart. I think Acuna's is for 10 years, Tatis is for 13 or 14. Neither here nor there. But you would think with the discount you gave him, yes, market the shit out of him. Especially in, Major League Baseball, I guarantee every team has their own marketing program, but I would do it. I would be the most aggressive marketing person ever if I had just a personality like that. I don't even care if he's the third or fourth best dude on the team. Give me that guy. With just how his personality can connect with kids. That's something that Major League Baseball as a whole is trying to fix, is the average age of the fan. And we have these young kids now that are so relatable to high school kids, college kids. It's kind of like that whole I want to be like Mike. You need something in baseball. MLB itself should do something, and each individual team, because it seems like each individual team has their own young fucking stud. Market the shit out of them. Why? Market the shit out of them right now because they're one pitch away from not being there. So keep that in mind. And with baseball, guaranteed contract. So obviously anytime there's a big signing, everyone has to compare it to the Bobby Bonilla signing, which to me is the greatest, most genius contract in the history of sports. And I want to say that Tatis's contract is for 14 years, and even after that expires, the Mets will still be sending Bobby Bonilla like $1.5 million every year. So kudos to you, Bobby Bo. There's always Bobby Bo Day, which we will celebrate here on the podcast. But 2Ks. We kind of I was interviewed by someone, which she's probably watching right now, Rochelle, and we talked about kind of the show flow and stuff like this. And so usually when we go off topic is when the gold hits. And I put it on the wrap up screen because we got off Big Ten basketball. But that's when the gold hits. So I love it. And on top of that, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about NCAA hoops. We're gonna have plenty of time to talk about baseball. But this was one hell of a show. I loved it. I mean, like I said, Big Ten basketball is where it's at. We're looking at a Michigan-Ohio State score, 54-50. Michigan in the second half. Looks like it just got to start. 16 minutes left. So I guarantee all of you, whether you're a Michigan fan, Ohio State fan, or you're Nick Berry and you're an Iowa fan, you will be watching this game, I'm sure. But 2Ks, any other last thoughts, my friend?
Nope.
All right, like I said, the gold happens when we go off trail. So, and yeah, everyone, go ahead if you got value out of this, if you got entertained, or if you think we're completely stupid, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like and a comment, and if you're feeling very froggy, as always, www.buyturboabeer.com. Help support the channel. We would love it. And if you do, we will feature you on the program. So, as always, everyone have a great week. And Jim Rome, we're still coming for you.